That's one of my biggest solo travel pet peeves. And I know it's absolutely silly, but trust me, once you've done it a couple times, you'll understand. Hi, I'm Lori, a mostly solo traveler. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of solo traveling. Let's start with the first con, and that is solo travel can be scary. And while it's true that doing things outside of your comfort zone can be scary, amazing experiences lie just outside that comfort zone. And if you let that fear rule you and you don't do the hard thing or the scary thing, you're never going to know what the amazing things are outside of your comfort zone. So it's really empowering to do these scary things and succeed and conquer them and find all these amazing experiences outside of your comfort zone that you never would have found if you let fear rule your life. The second con is that solo travel can be expensive. And it's true that certain types of solo travel can be expensive. Things like cruises can especially be expensive when they charge double occupancy for a cabin. Although these days more and more cruise lines are offering solo cabins or solo travel discounts. You just have to do a little homework and look for them. But solo travel doesn't have to be expensive. When you're traveling alone, you make all the choices. You pick the hotel, the flight, the restaurants, the activities, and you can pick those that are in your budget and not have to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with the friends that you're traveling with and bust your budget by going along with something just because the people you're traveling with want to. And affordable solo travel doesn't have to mean hostels. Look, I'm 48. I am not a hostel girl. I use credit card points to book fancier hotels than I'm willing to pay cash for. And I'll even use credit card points to fly business class for long haul flights. Because once I hit my 40s, staying in a hostel or cramming myself into economy for a long haul flight was not happening for me. The third con of solo travel is that it can be overwhelming to have to make all the decisions for your trip. A lot of times you can experience decision fatigue. If you're driving, you're navigating and driving. And if you're learning to drive on the left, that adds an extra layer of fun to it. I don't know if I'd call that fun, but it's a challenge for sure. If you're using the metro, you need to figure out how to use it, how to buy a ticket, where to go, how to read the maps. There are a lot of choices and a lot of decisions to be made when you're traveling solo, and not having someone to share that load with can be a little bit exhausting from time to time, especially if things go sideways on your trip. And let's face it, something always goes sideways on a trip. No trip is ever perfect. There can be lots of things that happen and go wrong that throw your trip off, and a lot of times you'll have to pivot and make decisions that you weren't expecting. But on the plus side, traveling alone is amazing because you get to make all the decisions. Say you plan to go to a museum and you wake up not feeling like wandering around a museum. You don't have to go. I mean, sure, you could be, out your ticket if you've pre-booked it and it's not refundable. But if you decide you'd rather go lay on the beach instead of walking around a museum that day, you can do that, and you don't have to consult with anybody and possibly fight with somebody or compromise to do what they want to do or make sure that everybody's happy. You're the only person that you're responsible for making happy when you travel solo, and that's an amazing thing. Another thing people talk about is that solo travel can be lonely. And this is true. You know what? Sometimes solo travel can be lonely, but you can be lonely in your own hometown, or you can be lonely in Aruba or Japan or Australia. So for me, I'd rather be lonely in a cool new destination. And there are times that I've been traveling that I have wished that I had another person with me. When I was in Tokyo, I ended up getting a respiratory thing. It didn't test positive as COVID, but it sure seemed like it. And because I was traveling alone, I had to go out and get food. I had to go out and get medicine. There was nobody to do those things for me. So occasionally solo travel can feel really lonely. But on the flip side, solo travel can be an amazing opportunity to meet new people and practice your language skills. I'm in the process of learning Italian, and I have been for about the past year. And when I was recently in Italy, I spent more time trying to use those Italian skills with locals than I would have had I been traveling with an English-speaking friend. So instead of seeing traveling alone as a lonely hindrance, look at it as an opportunity to make new friends in new countries and practice your foreign language skills. I see a lot of solo travelers online saying that they've been turned away from restaurants or been given the crummy table by the kitchen because they're traveling alone. And while this has never personally happened to me, this is something to be aware of, and it's something that can happen. And yes, it's unfortunate. Obviously, restaurants want to make their money by having parties of 2, 3, 4, or more, and a solo traveler isn't going to be as profitable for them as groups of people are. I understand that. I tend to eat at off hours, whether it's earlier or later than the average dinner hours or lunch hours for the country that I'm visiting, and I've never encountered that issue. So I'm hoping that my luck will hold. But one of the positive things about traveling alone is that sometimes you end up getting the last seat at the bar. When I was in St. Augustine for Christmas, I popped into a restaurant and there was a 30+ minute wait. But when the hostess found out that I was traveling by myself, she said there was one seat left at the bar and it was mine if I wanted. Of course I took it, and actually I finished my meal before some of the people that were waiting in line to be seated had even gotten a table. So sometimes traveling alone can have its perks. Another thing I hear from well-meaning friends and family is that solo travel is so dangerous. And you know what? Any place can be dangerous, even your own hometown. Whether you're in your own hometown or whether you're traveling, you need to be aware of your surroundings and listen to your gut instincts. For me, I never arrive in a new destination after dark, or if I do because of flight delays and whatnot, I make sure that I take a licensed taxi to my accommodations rather than trying to use public transportation. Normally, I love public transportation. I grew up outside of New York City, going into the city using public transportation regularly, and I absolutely take advantage of it when I travel. But when I'm arriving in a new destination and it's after dark, the last thing I want to do is try to navigate a new public transportation system and then possibly be wandering the streets in the dark looking for my hotel or Airbnb. So using common sense and a little bit of caution can make any destination just as safe as your hometown. If you're unsure about a particular destination, check the U.S. Department of State website and see if there are any travel advisories for that destination. If they're advising you not to travel there, it's probably a good idea to follow that advisory. But if they say it's all good, then I trust my gut and trust my instincts and just use common sense and caution, and knock on wood, I've never had any problems. Another con of traveling alone is that it can be harder to get cool photos of yourself. And the way I combat this is if I'm in a destination that I really want to capture those memories, I hire a professional local photographer. I had professional kimono photos taken while I was in Japan. I hired someone to take my photo in front of the Eiffel Tower. And on my upcoming trip to Italy, I've got someone doing a gondola tour with me and taking photos while I'm on the gondola tour. It can be a bit of a splurge, but for me, it's important to have those memories captured. Yes, you can use selfie sticks and timers and things like that to get really cool photos of yourself. And I do that too. But for me, the quality of a professional photographer is unmatched, and I've never regretted spending the money to have those memories. This next con is a silly one, but it absolutely drives me nuts. When you travel alone and you're in the airport and you have to pee, you've got to bring your dang luggage with you because you've got no one to watch it. And why are airport bathrooms so small? The little stalls, the cubicles, they're the tiniest things ever. You can barely fit yourself in there, much less yourself and your rolling suitcase. It's ridiculous. That's one of my biggest solo travel pet peeves. And I know it's absolutely silly, but trust me, once you've done it a couple times, you'll understand. One of the big things I think that prevents a lot of people from traveling solo is the judgment of others. And look, I get it too. I used to really care what other people thought of me, but the older I get, the less I care what other people think of me. And a lot of times I've found that people that are passing judgment on me traveling alone are actually just jealous. They want to travel alone, but they're too fearful to do it themselves. And while that's unfortunate for them, I'm never going to let their judgment stop me from traveling solo, and you shouldn't either. So those are the pros and cons of solo travel in my experience. Did I miss any? If so, leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't yet solo traveled, let me know which of the cons is holding you back in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the airport soon.